fängt so ziemlich low an und dann will ich irgendwie nicht so...
Yo! This is Chris!
This is fucking...
Yo, this is Chris.
This is Jason, and today we are at Downforce Recordings and doing some vocals.
If I want to start again, tell me what's I begin. I usually prefer to record clean vocals first, and after that I record the shouts and scream vocals and the raspy vocals. Tell me, will you wait for me? So this is the slide microphone where we record the clean vocals and the whispers with, and this is the SM7B where I record the screams and shouts with, and here's my cheat sheet where I can see my lyrics, which we wrote right before the sessions, and the monitor so I can see what's going on.
Hi, my name is Max from Downforce Recordings, a recording studio based in Nuremberg, Bavaria. And I first got to know Chris in a different project before Impulse, and there he just did some vocal lines as a backup singer, just for layering. And he was so talented back then already that I thought, why doesn't he like sing full-time in a band? And then I think like 5 years went by, and then I heard about Impulse. I just saw the video Constellations, and I really liked the material, and I was thinking, that's that Chris guy again.
Tell me, was it all on True fehlt hier noch, oder?
Genau, ja, das
Genau.
Jo, dann machen wir noch das.
This time around we decided to do all the vocals in the studio with a professional. But last time, for example, with vice versa, we actually did everything in our practice space, which made this process way more laid back and relaxed for us because we don't have to worry about all the technical side of things. And yeah.
The problem with the recording sessions at the rehearsal were you weren't always sure if this is the final take because you always can say that you will do another one because you got the time. This time we told ourselves it's better to work under pressure sometimes, so we can give 100%.
Yeah, then they approached me in January of this year and said, we have new material, we want to track vocals with you. And they sent me the pre-production, and I listened to the pre-production and it was like really fleshed out. I was like really intrigued by the layering and all the instrumental stuff that Jason did. And yeah, then we thought about how to go about it.
The pre-production phase started a couple months before we went to the studio. In the beginning we could just meet up at Tom's place and record the parts and write some parts together.
Ich finde das an der Stelle echt geil. Ich weiß nicht, ob es an der Stelle so passt, ist so meine Befürchtung. Aber wir können es mal lassen.
Also Tom, ich bin mir echt 100% sicher, dass es geil ist.
Okay.
To us it's really important to figure out all the parts before we go to the studio, so we have a roadmap of what to record and what we still have to work on. And Chris can go with more confidence into the vocal booth.
It's you and me!
Bisschen später.
Bisschen später? Echt? Aber ich fand es früher instinktiver eigentlich.
Ich kann es mir gar nicht vorstellen. So.
Nein! Nee, das ist nicht so geil. You mean everything to me!
Ja, wir wollen unterschiedliche Versionen in den Chorussen haben. Ja schon, aber ich habe jetzt die...
As the year progressed, the whole Corona situation got a bit more tricky in Germany, and we had to switch over to Zoom calls. This time around we wanted to have a feature part on one song, and the first guy that came to mind was Sebby from the band Vermilion. The relationship between our band and Seppi happened quite organically, I would say, because we played some shows in the local scene with him and his band, and we always liked his voice on stage and on the record, so we went for him.
Round 1. Fight.
Ich mach die kaputt, Bruder, hey. Ich hab Schwarz-Gut in Kibotu. Kennst du das?
Nee.
Kinderbodenturnen.
Okay. Ey Max, wir sind soweit. Hopp.
The same blood is running through us all! So, ne?
Ja, genau.
Ja, okay, krieg ich hin.
Das machen wir schon.
Ja, das läuft, Ding. Brutal.
I am lost in my thoughts again!
Flipp jetzt nicht aus.
For the backing vocals, we also needed some support from female voices, so fortunately Christine and Lena were ready to help us out.
We're starting over and over again.
I know Christine back from school. We were in the choir together and I remember her great soprano voice, so she was hired. And to be honest, I didn't know Lena before personally. I found some videos of her singing on Instagram. Turns out she was at one of our shows before, but for me it was the first time I met her personally at that day.
We're starting over and over again.
We said, okay, the material is like really complex. We want to use all the voices that Chris can do, and we need a lot of time for it. We didn't want to like artificially handcuff ourselves with the time constraints. So we said we need 6 full days for 6 songs, just vocal production. And that's what we did.
Oder nicht?
We often came back to the songs, listened to them and found some parts where we could do some parts better, or I could do some parts better. So it's not quite defined which song was first, which song was last. The only exception were Motion and Kronos.
So Motion and Kronos actually happened in the studio. We didn't quite finish all the lyrics before we went in here, and Max actually helped us with finishing and perfecting all the missing parts. Working with Max was a really nice experience. He's super fast with his editing, he has super cool ideas, and he really brings some parts to life.
It worked out really, really well, and I think that is the most sophisticated vocal production I have ever done. And I'm really proud of the whole team of what we achieved here.